real, keep it 100. Caitlin Clark has been on the receiving end of this sort of stuff way too much.
Caitlin Clark fans have been asking the same question for years. Just how much worse does it have to get? How hard do the fouls need to be before the officials finally start making the right calls? Meanwhile, on the other end of the floor, Caitlin gets called for simply standing still, receives a technical for clapping, or somehow ends up with a foul against her after another player throws an elbow. So, how much worse can it really get? Well, now we finally have the answer.
I called it, that she would be targeted.
What Alyssa Thomas did to Caitlin Clark was so obvious that it wasn't just fans reacting online anymore. Analysts, reporters, and even Caitlin's own coach were visibly upset. Yes, the league eventually responded, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but by then the damage had already been done. As you'll see, in today's world where one clip can spread everywhere within seconds, this is the kind of moment the WNBA cannot simply move past unless it takes serious action. Before we continue, make sure to like the video and leave a heart in the comments to support Caitlin. Now let's go back to June 22nd. Coming into the game against the Mercury, Caitlin Clark was playing some of the best basketball of her season. She had recorded several straight games with at least 20 points and 5 assists, ranked third in scoring and second in assists across the league. She was healthy again and looked like an early MVP contender. And she was doing all of that despite dealing with the same frustrating officiating that had followed her since her rookie season. Clear fouls against her kept getting ignored, while she was called for the smallest contact imaginable. Somehow, the officiating in this game managed to be even worse. During the game, Caitlin had a brief exchange with Bonner, which led to the now famous Sophie Cunningham moment. But something else happened that caught everyone's attention. If you watched the play closely, you probably noticed Caitlin received a technical foul. The reason? She simply clapped her hands.
Up tech tonight, 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got a technical for clapping, so like if we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for if I'm going to get technicals for clapping. I asked Gerda. Gerda said that I got a technical for clapping. So if any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me for was for clapping. So it's just ridiculous. I don't understand it at all.
Even more surprising, the league decided not to remove that technical foul, despite making the same adjustment for Paige Buchers in another situation. Unfortunately, that was only the beginning because everything that followed became even more unbelievable.
Yo, AT tried to take Caitlin Clark out. Look at that elbow. Oh my. She tried to take her out with the elbow.
Next came another shocking play. Alyssa Thomas threw an elbow directly at Caitlin Clark, something that looked like a clear and obvious foul. But instead of stopping there, the officials made a decision that many fans have called one of the most unbelievable calls ever seen in professional sports.
The illegal contact is initiated by Caitlin Clark. She comes across the arm, into the body and hip of Thomas.
After the officials reviewed the play, they somehow ruled that Caitlin Clark had initiated the contact. Think about that for a second. She received a technical foul for clapping, then got called for a foul after taking an elbow. It already sounded unbelievable, but it still wasn't the worst part. 2 days later, Caitlin was once again putting together a fantastic performance and was on pace for a 20-point, 10-assist game before everything changed. Watch the replay carefully. That's Alyssa Thomas pressing her fist directly into Caitlin's neck. Then another angle revealed even more. You could clearly see Thomas driving her knee into Caitlin's groin. Once again, there was no whistle. Soon after, Caitlin quietly left the game because of back discomfort and never returned. Many fans believed that another dangerous closeout played a major role. So now the list included a shot to the neck, a knee to the groin, another reckless closeout, and an injury. That was the moment when the reaction exploded everywhere.
Whether it's from Kennedy Carter at the very beginning, or Marina Mabry last year, or Alyssa Thomas today, way too often she's been on the receiving end of this stuff, and she's getting called for fouls for having her arms straight up in the air and getting technicals for clapping. And then there was the closeouts, reckless closeouts, whatever you want to call them. And I posted earlier today, she's gonna get hurt. If this keeps up, she got her back issue.
How many times is Caitlin Clark going to get cheap shotted by the same 3 or 4 players over and over and over and over again before the refs do it.
Fans and analysts were furious, but what about the head coach? During the game, Stephanie White barely reacted at all. No one expected her to go as far as Cheryl Reeve, but people still wanted to see some kind of response. Until then, it often felt like she had shown more frustration toward Caitlyn than toward the officiating. However, after the game, she finally said something that many people believed needed to be said.
Number one, you gotta call it. It's absolutely egregious and utterly disrespectful.
Words like unacceptable and egregious were important, but what Stephanie White said next was what really stood out. For the first time, it sounded like she had reached her limit. She didn't just criticize the officials, she openly praised Caitlyn Clark. She said, "We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who took 2 cheap shots that weren't called."
We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say again, absolutely unacceptable.
I will say it again, that is absolutely unacceptable. Many fans believed she could have gone even further by calling Caitlyn the face of the league, the reason teams now travel on charter flights instead of commercial, and one of the biggest reasons player salaries have grown so much. That may have been the strongest possible statement. Still, whether people believed every word or not, she was finally saying what supporters had been waiting to hear. She was repeating the same frustration fans had expressed for months, and at this point they had simply had enough. Yes, after heavy public criticism, Alyssa Thomas received a 1-game suspension, but for many Caitlyn Clark supporters that punishment felt meaningless. It looked like the league acted only because the incident was impossible to ignore. For many fans, the WNBA had allowed these situations to continue for far too long. The damage had already been done. In today's sports world, one image can define an entire story, and for many people that image is Alyssa Thomas's fist pressed against Caitlyn Clark's neck. To Caitlyn supporters, that picture has become a symbol of how they believe the league has treated its biggest star. Whenever people talk about Caitlyn's WNBA journey, that image is now impossible to forget. Until the league makes real changes by improving officiating and doing a better job protecting its biggest attraction, that moment will continue to come back. Every missed foul, every comment telling Caitlyn not to question the officials, and every overly physical play against her will remind fans of that picture and everything it represents. If you've watched all the way to the end, leave a trophy in the comments because you've earned it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.